Starting to the bottom left of Cloud Kingdom, we have our Terran player, sorry, to the top right first, we have our Protoss player in the red. He's starting for MVP, and it is... Oh. It's Vampire. I'm waiting for Street Fighter voice to announce the player, and I'm wondering why isn't that happening, and then of course this time we don't have them. So let me introduce the player to the bottom left for you. It is the Terran, and he was losing game number 1. It is Ssak.
Got taken a huge lead.
Telecom.
You mentioned, I mean, you basically outlined one of the biggest points that we haven't even talked about that much, is his production was just so lacking. He had 2,000 minerals. He was queued up correctly in all of his barracks. The problem was he needed about 5 to 6 more of those at least to really be able to spend his money appropriately. His ghosts were very late, and the few ghosts he did have, he did not use very well. And Vampire's ghost defense was awesome. He also had so many flanks set up with his High Templar. Even that group of High Templar that got caught in the middle of the map, normally those just die. They may hit a few units, but he actually got great storms off with those, and that's so important.
Ssak had a bit of an opportunity, I think, in the middle that he did not really know about. From the scouting information that he had, he could never really be 100% sure what Vampire had, and if Vampire was already prepared for his next attack. But as it went, Ssak just... I don't even want to say fall apart, because he still pressured Vampire through the entire course of the game. If you think about it, it was just Vampire trying to hold onto his bases, defend, and then when he saw the opportunity, he just rolled over Ssak and never gave him the opportunity to rebuild his army. But if Ssak in the late game would have been cautious enough to build additional production facilities, then Vampire would have had a huge problem of winning this game, because even at the end, Ssak was nearly able to throw Vampire's army back, but the problem for him was that he just could not build those units in time. Vampire, on the other hand, didn't have the resources. He had to win at this point in time, and he did.
Now, I wonder what build he's going to show us here. He's taking a gas. Now, the coach, of course, as mentioned before, is Slayer's Boxer himself. Now, what will be the build of choice? What kind of build does he have planned? Will he go for one of these more popular factory builds, or actually, as I thought, you know, this factory build seems a little bit too common these days for someone like Boxer to actually suggest to him. It's also really risky, and if you don't have a lot of experience with it, it's very difficult. It's going to be more likely a 2-racks play. He is getting that tech lab. Now, this could even be 2-racks with siege tanks. He's getting his second gas right now. I'm really curious. He starts a Reaper, which can give him a lot of scouting information, but I'm really curious, Cowler, what this is going to be. There's the factory.
With the second gas, of course, the factory makes a lot of sense, and I'm also a little bit interested in what exactly we are going to see from Ssak right now. There are a lot of options what he can go for, and we have him already queued up with another unit. He's going for a Marauder as a second unit.
Quite common to see, of course. You only want to make one Reaper when you go for this type of scout, but will he follow this up with kind of like a Marauder expand with factory support? Is he going to actually go for Marauder Hellion, which is possible with double gas, though? He may even go into some sort of really strange play with Banshees, Hellions, and Marauders. This is pretty weird. This is an unusual build that we're seeing right now.
I don't really think that we will see an expansion from him anytime soon, and there's the starport already, so he delays any kind of potential expansion, even builds another barracks. It looks like a one-base build that we're going to see from Ssak, and now Vampire with his expansion straight into robotics. And the Reaper will definitely be able to get in there. He sees exactly where the first Stalker is running straight into the second one on the other hand, without doing too much damage, trying to take down one of the Harvesters, but he can't pull it off.
I feel it was such a mistake to go for the Harvesters rather than try to see what was in the base. He didn't even see the Robo. He has no idea what's there, and you know, when the Stalker's chasing you, you're not going to get a probe. You got to go check for those buildings. That's what the Reaper's for. The Reaper's not to kill probes, it's to scout, and that was a bit disappointing, but meanwhile back at home he is starting his first Banshee, his Siege Tank is getting triple barracks, so it looks like he's actually just going to be going for this Marine Tank Banshee style, where you have 3 barracks producing Marines rather than getting a reactor on the barracks, which allows you to get your Siege Tanks and Banshees out a little bit faster, but even gives you more Marine production.
The thing though is that Vampire with the early robotics will now be able to spot this very early in the game. The first observer is already rallied across the map, and he will see at least what's going on, as long as Ssak is not able to snipe this observer. If he's actually able to pull that off, which I highly doubt at this point in time, especially from how he spread his Marines so far, then he will be able to scout what's going on and will prepare accordingly.
Yeah, he does not see the observer. In fact, he's going to fly right into the siege tanks. Oh, he does see it actually. He pulls the siege tank back. Does he have a scan? No, he only has one command center, so even though he smartly pulled his siege tanks away for a second, it's not going to matter because the observer is going to know everything. He actually starts a Raven because he wants to take that out. No cloak for the Banshees though, so taking out observers is not going to be too important in the main fight.
And right now, Vampire has to really stop at some point to build probes and concentrate more on his army. He's on 2 bases already, and he has spotted what's going on, therefore the Immortal has been started, but he needs to be prepared for this. He spotted everything. He sees the tanks, he sees everything that's going on here.
Yeah, and this is exactly what he needs. He just needs to continue chrono boosting those Immortals. As mentioned, he needs to cut probes. He's done that. He's adding extra gateways as well here. He's already hit the saturation that he wants to be able to hold a push like this. He's got 39 probes out in total. And he even pulls out a gas at his natural because he knows he doesn't need that right now. He just needs to get as many minerals out as he can to get his production facilities. When he needs the gas, he can put the probes back in. And a ton of SCVs being pulled for Ssak here. He knows that he doesn't want to fight Vampire in a straight-up game, especially after what happened on Whirlwind.
Here comes the SCV train, and at the same time, the siege mode has been started. It's completed to 1/3, and of course, right now, Vampire needs additional units. He's using his chrono boost. His observer dies to the Raven and the Marines.
This is going to be pretty tough for Vampire to hold, but at the same time, second Immortal pops out here. The Banshee is going to be so annoying. He cannot defend the Banshee with his Stalkers and be down at the bottom at the same time. He's just actually fighting here. He's like, wait, you're not sieged up. You must not have siege mode yet, and I'm going to try to fight you on open ground and push you back by more time. He's actually going to get the Banshee very likely here. The Stalkers just need one more shot. He turns around the SCVs at the last second. Guardian Shield is up. He's taking out so many units here for free. Ssak cannot fight, and he's actually pushed all the way back. This game is looking more and more like Ssak has no chance.
This is actually really hard. Oh, great forcefulness here, trapping the siege tank too. Now not only the Raven is gone, but one of the siege tanks is even losing a couple of the SCVs. Vampire can move back. He's still fighting in the siege tank range because he realizes there's no support anymore for Ssak. He's taking down everything here.
And this is going to be game. He's actually going to lose everything. He can just walk the Immortal over.
The harvesters, yeah, they are gone.
Yeah, the siege tank is gone. He actually allows that siege tank to kill 3 more Stalkers and a Sentry. He could have just walked his Immortal over. But guess what? It still doesn't matter because there's nothing he can do now. He can't even make another siege tank.
2 Banshees headed for the main base of Vampire. He tries to make this work, but there are just too many Stalkers. Bam!
Boom. 1 down, and
just escapes.
One more shot will kill it, so he just has to leave 1 Stalker. That's all he needs.
Okay, let's just think about what Ssak can do right now. He doesn't have the Harvester count. He's currently down to 17 against 45 Harvesters. He has only 1 base. This means only 1 mule. He has 27 army supply against 42, and he is behind in tech. Right now, Vampire can start the victory dance early and then come back in the booth to play out the rest of the game because he is so far ahead. I'm actually lacking the words to express it.
Yeah, it's insane. He pulls the Banshee back, he's repairing it, he's trying to make use of anything he can. You know, Vampire is actually take a 3rd Nexus if you wanted to. That's how that is. He's just going to kill him. Yeah. He says, game over, pal.
There is only 1 siege tank and he takes it down, those 2 Immortals. They end the game. GG. Game over. And Vampire defeats Ssak with a 2-0. The Casper Terran is now back in Code B.
Yeah, and you know, this is his first broadcasted match, and you could really see in Game 1 just how Castle players could prepare so well build orders with how he opened and how well he controlled the early game.
Yeah.
But then in Game 2, you see almost the opposite. His build order was good, but then he didn't know exactly how to execute it, and Vampire just totally crushed him with the scouting information he had. And, I mean, it's a weird build. He spent so much gas on the Reaper. Everything was delayed. I don't know if I like the Reaper first here.
One of the things that, of course, is also pretty obvious is Ssak didn't have to face a single Protoss player in the Code A qualifier that we talked about. At the same time, him playing in the first group of the Code A round of 48 also means that he had the least time to prepare from all the Casper players that we've seen so far. One of the reasons why he might have been able to prepare properly for his match against Vampire. But we don't want to take anything away from the MVP Protoss here. It was a really nice performance. He never gave up, was able to advance to the next round. So congratulations to Vampire. And we have another Terran versus Protoss coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so we're going to have that 5-minute break that we always have after every best of 3. Then Genius is going to be up against MVP Dream. Genius definitely the favorite here, but if he loses, he's going to be actually out of the GSL. So we'll see if he can keep things up here. We'll be back in 5.
Ma sœur, songe à la douceur d'aller là-bas vivre ensemble.